This video has been kindly sponsored by Squarespace. This is actually incredibly embarrassing to show, but I have a lot of yarn. Like a lot of yarn. A whole mountain of it actually. And I don't want to do any type of project in 2025 until all of this is organized and taken care of, because this is way too much. I want to organize the yarn that I want to keep. I want to get rid of the yarn that I know I'm not going to use and just be able to walk in my closet again. So we're keeping the intro really short and sweet and getting right into organizing. I can't even walk in this closet anymore without having to step on some yarn or some old projects, and I just need to get this together before I do any other project. But what I originally had going on was up here is where all my green yarn would go. My pink yarn would be back here in these two bags, and then I'd have red yarn in this drawer, brown yarn in this drawer, and then black yarn in the bottom drawer. I have all of my cotton yarn back here, and all my purple yarn in this basket, white yarn in this basket, gray yarn in this basket, other yarn in this basket, and then some other colors going on there. And back here, behind all of this other stuff, is my blue yarn. I just fell. And I am just tired of not being able to walk in this closet with ease, sit down, choose my yarn, and come out. I have to move a whole bunch of stuff and pull through and figure out where I put stuff, and it's just too much. So it's time to organize all of this yarn. This is a lot of yarns. My original plan for organizing the yarn was to make 3 different piles. The first pile is going to be the yarn that I know I want to keep and I know I'm going to use. The second pile is the yarn that I can sell. I want to see if I can sell yarn that still has labels on it, or make a little color palette type of yarn bundle, which will be really cute, and just sell it for, the most expensive will probably be like $20 for a whole bundle, because I just want some of this yarn gone. And the third pile would be yarn that I'm unsure of, or yarn that I can just use as scrap yarn to make pillows and plushies and stuff. Is this your first time walking in there?
Yep.
Since when?
Since 20... When did you start?
2022, I think? 2021?
2022, yeah. My first time walking in here.
You looking around like it's a new room.
It is. It basically is.
I began my 4-hour journey of going through every single ball of yarn that I owned, wishing I invested in a yarn winder to make all of the skeins I was going through a lot neater, but I had to make do with just leaving them how they were for now. While going through the yarn, I almost began to cry from how embarrassed I felt seeing it piled together. I didn't want to have this much yarn or a lot of stuff in general, but for some reason I always tend to have so much stuff. Even when I was trying to reduce my spending and buying yarn only for specific projects, it just kept piling up slowly over the course of the 3 years that I've been doing this. I want to seriously become more sustainable with my yarn choices, not only buying ethical and natural fibers to make my pieces last longer, but also just buying less yarn and using what I already have. The only difficult part of that is wanting to do challenges, but not having the specific yarn for those challenges. Like for example, I already purchased yarn for the next film recreations I'm about to do, and I have enough to finish it, but there's definitely going to be leftover yarn and it's going to slowly start piling up again. And I can't really do the challenges with the yarn that I have if it's a specific piece I'm recreating, unless it's more of an inspired piece. I suppose I just have to do more scrap yarn projects, which tends to come out nicely, so there's nothing wrong with that, but I guess I put too much pressure on myself to make things that will be interesting to you guys, which ends up with me consuming more than I'd like to. For an example, I love playing dress up and coming up with different outfits with my clothes, and thankfully I've gotten to a point where I don't need to buy any new clothes. Like if I didn't buy any new clothes except when the item is literally falling apart and can't be fixed, I'd be okay. And I want to get there with all this yarn, so if I think of a project I want to create, I don't have to order more online. I could just grab what I have in the closet and make it. And you'd think I have enough yarn for any project after seeing all of this, but there's always another skein I have to get due to the yarn not being the right size or material. But looking at my yarn store of a closet, I definitely want to change this, and hopefully all this can be reduced this year. I'm able to kind of see the floor again, but right here, this section is all of the yarn that I'm going to keep, and I'm about to go through them and organize it and put it right back in the closet. And then over here is all of the yarn that I'm thinking of selling, but I am going to go through them, see if they're worth selling or not, and if I do want to sell it or keep it. And then this is my scrap yarn that I have. Organizing the yarn by color felt like I was organizing the entire yarn collection all over again, and just this section of the yarn I wanted to keep was overwhelming, honestly. All of the baskets quickly filled up to the brim, especially the green yarn. I kept a lot of the green yarn since I know that I'd use up a lot of it since that's the color that I use the most of, but I was surprised at how much red yarn I have. But whenever I do color challenges, in the past I would just buy a bunch of yarn in that color and then figure out what the project was going to be afterwards, which is another reason why I've attained so much yarn in the first place. But once everything was organized by color, I took it all back into the closet and put the medium-sized colors in the drawers, like my grays, blacks, browns, yellows, oranges, and dark blues. These are all colors that I have a little bit of, but don't use that often. I didn't have a huge plan when deciding to organize all the yarn. I just knew that I wanted to keep some and get rid of others. So a lot of the yarn skeins aren't aesthetically placed in the closet or anything, but as long as they're where they're supposed to be and are easily accessible, that's all that really matters to me. My larger colors like green, which I initially was going to place back on the shelf, but later decided to put in a bin instead, all sat in larger bins either on the floor or the shelves. Those consisted of my purples, reds, pinks, and light blues. But after all that, I was finally able to walk into the closet again. Look at this semi-organized closet. I can actually walk in, I can vacuum the floor now. It's not like the best organization in the world, but it's more contained. I just have way too much yarn, and I think I'm gonna just try to slowly get this down to a very, very tiny collection, which is gonna take forever, but hopefully I can at least sell some of these, and unfortunately if I can't, I'm gonna have to donate it. But if there's like a place that is good for donating yarn, let me know. I don't want to just take it all to Goodwill. Like, that's why I said unfortunately, because I feel so bad for the workers. But yeah, I have all of the black yarn here. I have some orangey-ish yarn there, my grayish yarn up there, which is kind of hard to open because of this thing right here. And then I have pink yarn here, my scrap yarn, dark green, light green, red, blue, white, extra, and then yellow and brown and blue. But yeah, if I sound tired, it's because I am, and I'm not even close to being done. For the yarn that I want to sell, I first want to do like bundles of the same yarn. Like I have this peacock yarn, for example, here that's really fluffy, and I bought it to make something, but I just never did. Like, there's nothing wrong with the yarn or anything, I just never used it. So this is one of those bundles that probably gonna go for like $20 because I just want it gone. But it'll have I think, let me see how many I have. I have 9 of them, so 9 of these I'll probably do for like 20. And then I have a bunch of gray yarn, this one. Like, I was supposed to make a sweater with it, but I never did. I'll probably sell those for the same price, and anything that's smaller will go for like 10, 15. And then I also want to do something where it's like I take different colors and make a cute little color scheme with them. Like, I can't do it right now because there's so much around me, but I don't know, maybe take this pretty pink and then pair it with I don't know, a different pink with the same size, or maybe with a gray, you know, just to have like a cute little color palette going on. But yeah, I'm gonna do that and hopefully I'll be done after. At this point in the organizing process, I was a bit tired, so I just made sure that everything I wanted to sell was semi-organized by the type of yarn and color. It is the next day, and right here I have all of the yarn that I'm thinking about selling. So right now I'm gonna take the time to go through them, I already kind of put all of the similar yarns together. For example, this one here, this is all filled with this paint box yarn here. And the one here, for example, this one's filled with this willow and lark yarn. I sold some of the willow and lark yarn last month, and I'm surprised I found more. I was like, there's no way that I bought this much, but apparently I did. I took the yarn I wanted to sell and made sure that the ones with labels stuck together if there were more than one of them, and then eventually took photos of each skein, some of them going in bundles, others going on their own. And after all the organizing, untangling, and contemplation, my closet was semi-neat and my yarn collection semi-smaller than it used to be. Well, I think that's all for now. I have taken a bunch of photos of all of the yarn. There wasn't as many color combinations as I thought. A lot of the yarn did still have labels and multiple versions of it. So I just put those together, and all I have to do is just put them on Depop and hope for the best. Hopefully they do sell. I might just put some up for $1. Like, I just want to get rid of them. And I think throughout time, I'll just be able to slowly reduce my yarn collection by making more scrap yarn projects, by looking through them again and selling some more if they're able to sell, and maybe even making like a bunch of bags or something to sell online, you know, just to use up the yarn and make something that can actually be reusable. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this interesting video. Hopefully this inspired you to organize your own closet, even if it's not yarn. Just go through the stuff that you don't really use and see if anyone else can use them instead, and just give yourself some more space in your apartment or your house or whatever. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Before we go, I want to quickly say thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that allows you to create your very own website. If you want to design your own website, yet you don't know where to get started exactly, Squarespace offers a wonderful amount of templates to get you started. There's numerous amounts of categories to choose from, whether you're wanting to create a portfolio or a blog, plus you can customize them even further with their easy-to-use designing interface. If you're someone who's wanting to sell products, whether they're physical, digital, or even memberships, Squarespace has all the tools you need to get started, like their commerce tool, which allows you to track orders you've received and even offer ways to develop your shop even further. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your site, go to squarespace.com/ecoshun for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.